Now, I think it's important, since you're here, as what I would consider almost an official Canadian ambassador. How do you think about your Canadian identity? Because there are some things that I think makes the band quite uniquely Canadian. I'd be interested in what you think makes you Canadian.
Like Canada, we are downright rude.
We offer
smugly superior.
We offer free health care at all of our shows.
If anything happens to anyone, you've heard it here first.
Yeah.
We all still love Canada and live in Canada.
Most of our work is down here in the U.S., so we identify pretty strongly with the United States, but we're all from Canada. We grew up there. It's where we still choose to live, and there are ideologies that separate the two countries, but there are also a lot of things that make us the same.
We talk a lot about trying to find the common ground between the two countries, and there is so much of it, and we could see now our government is a lot closer to your government in ideology, which is not the way we were hoping it was going to work.
No.
We thought we'd bring you guys over to our side.
Yeah, not my government, clearly I'm with you.
Well,
you're dead at recess.
The thing I've noticed about Canada and the U.S. over the years that I've spent in the United States is they are so incredibly similar on almost all levels. There are some ideological differences, and the priorities of social welfare versus kind of a laissez-faire approach to our market-driven. We're a very market-driven culture, and we're also, like I joke, we're smugly superior. There's lots of things that we as a country in Canada think we are world leaders in that we're frankly sitting on our asses about, and we have to look at the United States for things like environmental protection. Regardless, a lot of your policies have been gutted in the last 5-6 years. You're still miles ahead of Canada on a lot of these kinds of things, and we're a country with lots of trees and fish and water and so on, but we're doing our best to squander it. And I think that the lessons that we learned by coming to the United States is seeing how people's voices still matter, even inside of a time now when it seems like things are very rigid. The voices matter, and there is so much discourse in the media, and our media is so much smaller and so much more compact in Canada that I don't think there's as much, you're not hearing as much variety in the voices and opinions that you hear in the United States.
Do you think there's something distinctly Canadian about your sense of humor?
No way,
I think Canadians in general get sort of to the top of the comedy heap or are successful in comedy because of our otherness. We feel like we can observe and make fun of. I also think that Canadians, for some reason, like Steve mentioned before, alluded to our politeness. I think we can get in there with our politeness, and then when we're in a position of power, that's when we start slicing the shit out of things. And and I think, honestly,
Did you just make reference to yourself with respect to politeness?
No, yeah, I guess so. How ironic. Irony is another Canadian trait.
Yes.
But honestly, I think the Canadian sense of humor comes from observation, comes from not necessarily being a player on the world stage, but kind of an observer, and that way you can just sit back and wait for people to make mistakes and make fun of them.
Which is why celebrity poker is even more popular in Canada than it is.